Pryde's Picks is spoiler heavy and full of crude language. I swear like a sailor, and Lockheed's no better. Consider yourself warned. Hey everyone, it's January 7th and I'm here at this week's Pryde's Picks. First up, we're going to start with a butt ton of Marvel, move into a little bit of DC Comics, and round it out with one book from Image. So let's get started. First up is All New X Factor Issue 1. Basically, X Factor is being brought back to life by a company called Serval Industries. They are a new corporation and they look to be wanting to do some good. Polaris is buying that bullshit, and she has now recruited Gambit and her brother, Quicksilver. There are going to be new players added to the team. I believe we are going to get Danger along with Warlock and a few more. But for now, it's just these three, and the whole issue is them recruiting Gambit into the fold. I don't trust the company, but the issue itself is kind of boring, so I'm going to say read it on the shelf, keep an eye out, and see if the next issue gets any better. It's not awful. It's not awesome. Next up, I want to talk about Marvel Now's Point 1, Issue 1. This has basically 6-7 stories in it, and it is giving you a little glimpse into what is coming up in the Marvel Universe this year, and letting you know a few books that are out that you might be interested in. Now here's the thing. Marvel shouldn't charge you for this. They should be giving you this free book so you can get into their other books and want to buy them. Instead, Marvel is asking for $6 for this book. $5.99 for a book about 4 pages of each story. I'm going to say piss on that altogether. The only story in here worth a lick to me, the Loki story, was pretty entertaining. Loki's up to no good, stealing all these keys. He gets his epic sword of Asgard, and he's about to do some cool stuff with it. And I was like, okay, I'll buy that. Black Widow's story is boring as fuck. The only good thing about it is Phil Noto is doing the art, and that guy's art is amazing. If you'd like to take a look, check it out. The last thing about this book that I did enjoy was the new Ms. Marvel. She is the one that was getting all the rage on the internet. She is a Muslim American, and she's 16 years old. And so to see into the life of a teen in that circumstance in her life is pretty cool. She definitely references a lot of pop culture, and I was intrigued with that and definitely fell in love with her. So I would give that book a shot, but everything else, all in all, kind of sucked, and I would say this book in itself, $6 Marvel, piss on it. Avengers World Issue 1 is one of the books that is teased in Point 1, and basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers have teamed up. Cap and Maria have decided they're going to go buddy-buddy, high-five all Eiffel Tower style, and say that they're going to share all their information with each other and use each other for the greater good. Cap's like, I'm going to need to see all your files, and she's like, let's not get silly, that's not going to happen. So he's like, okay, I'll still be on your team because he's a fucking chump, and hence Avengers World ensues. The book was boring. I don't care. Piss on it. Black Widow is the book that I was talking about just a minute ago. Phil Noto, N-O-T-O, is an amazing artist. Please Google him right now and look at his work. But the story itself is just her talking about why she does what she does, and why she's such an animal, and why she hunts like an assassin jungle cat or some bullshit. Piss on it. We're gonna jump out of the 616 universe and jump into Cataclysm in the Ultimate Universe. Basically, Galactus has jumped from the other 616 to the Ultimate Universe, and he's about to eat our fucking world. Everything's in chaos. Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales, in issue 3, decides to go tell his family who he is. His dad is very upset and basically dips on him. Spidey's trying to just squeak by, saving people's lives, and then he gets a call from Cap saying, we need you, man. He drops everything to jump into issue 3 of the Ultimates Last Stand Cataclysm. And what happens here is he joins up with Reed Richards and gets jumped into a different universe to find out where Galactus came from and what we can do to stop him. It was cool to see him come up against Peter Parker, which I'm pretty sure was Doc Ock from his words like insolence and whatnot. But he is very quickly bumped back into the Ultimate Universe, so I don't quite know what that accomplished. So I'm going to say, oh, God, steal it from a friend. Don't even pay for that. I'm not loving Cataclysm, and unless it ends in our world getting eaten, I'm pretty much over it right now. I do like Galactus. We're going to leave Marvel and jump into DC with Batman Superman issue 7. If any of you have been keeping up with this, you will realize that the last few issues you've had to read like this. And it sounds really clever and cute, and you're like, this is fun, until you start reading it, and you do kind of feel like you're reading a nudie magazine. And you expect like this centerfold to pop out, and Batman is like sprawled out in the Batcave, looking all adorable into the camera lens and playing sweet nothings with my mind. Shut up. Well, that's not going on. What's going on is Batman and Superman have been taken over by these little nanites, and they are being controlled like meat puppets by these children playing this video game they're beta testing. The beta test goes well, and then it goes live, and the gentleman starting all this is called the Mongol. He has 90 million users online all playing the game, and it sounds really cool until they further explain the game, in which they say that basically, as they fight, a computer calculates all the moves that Superman can make next within like a millionth of a second. And then 90 million users are able to choose which move he should do next. Then the computer calculates which move would be most successful and uses that. And then he says it's literally 1/1,000,000th of a, you know, what does he say? He says it's literally 1 in a trillion moves, and it's going to be a success each time, in which case, to me, that's like playing the lottery of all video games. The odds of you getting him a punch in is pretty low on the totem pole, and I feel like it's a waste of time. I'd rather just go play DCUO for free. In the end, they stop the Mongol. They convince the kids that, you know, the greater good, when two heroes fight, they end up teaming up to fight the overall bad guy. So that's what happens. They put him in the Phantom Zone, and Supes is like, don't worry, he's safe. He's in the Phantom Zone. And then Batman's like, until he isn't, because they always escape. That part was alright. I'm going to say this overall arc was pretty weak in the end, and I hated reading it sideways. So, I want to, you know what, read it on the shelf and then piss on it while it's sitting on the shelf. Just psh. Next up is Batman Detective Comics issue 27. It's an annual. It's got 6 or so stories in it, and they're all little different Bat stories. The best one was the Brad Meltzer story, where Batman talks about why he does what he does, and every scene, every panel has him saying a contradiction. He's like, you know, I do it because I care. I do it because I can't care. Like, and as cheesy as it sounds, when you read it, you're in it. You're like, yeah, that's why he does it. I get this. I feel like Batman. So you kind of get into it. I loved it. There's a story where it's his 75th birthday party, and picture like Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond. It's like that Batman, and he decides that he's going to sneak out of his birthday party, break brittle bones, fighting crime for good times, and you just feel sorry for him. I feel bad for the guy. The last of the stories was Batopia, and this is awful. It's like this wonderful utopian world where Gotham has almost zero crime, everybody's happy, Batman has this whole family of like heroes that help him. Catwoman's name is Catbird, which is fucking retarded. And this story is so lame, they've decided to stretch it out over other issues. So keep an eye out for Batgirl and Batwoman and all of these Batopian like spin-offs into the real world. And they say it's basically like an alternate verse. Not to take it too seriously, it's not affecting the major verse, but it's just like something fun. I thought it was weak. Overall, the annual was... it was batlicious. I don't know. Overall, I would say you Batman fans, buy it now. If you're not a Batman fan, I'd say definitely read the first story by Brad Meltzer on the shelf and then piss on Utopia. Batopia sucked. We are going to wrap up this week with Image Comics' The Walking Dead issue 119. Now, Rick has taken the battle to Negan's doorway, and then he has run like a bitch. Now, Negan has busted his way out of a bunch of zombies, and he's coming after Rick. And it cuts to right in the middle of all that chaos, Ezekiel talking about all he's lost, and Michonne slaps him in the face, calls him a bitch, and tells him to man the fuck up, because that's what his people need. Negan returns her, and he does it with good intentions. He says he just wants to talk to Rick, and this is why he's going to return her. She's got a little bag on her head. They pull the bag off her head, and what? Alright, it's a little bit of a cliffhanger. Some people think it's a great cliffhanger. I thought it was mediocre at best. I want to see Rick and Negan go toe-to-toe again, and this time I want them to literally punch each other in the face. And until that happens, I'm not going to be satisfied. So for now, The Walking Dead, I would say wait for the trade. It was exciting, it was awesome, but not too much happened, not enough for me to be excited about. I'm going to wrap up this week by letting y'all know that I am doing weekly game streams. Usually Tuesday, Wednesday night. You can catch it on the justacouplegs.com website, or you can go to twitch.com/noteffingcute. You may join in the chat if you'd like, or if you join the Google Hangout, you can totally pop in on the stream. I've been playing Magic the Gathering. I've been playing Lego Lord of the Rings, anything you want. If you have an extra game you want me to play with you on Steam, shoot it over to me. I will join you. I really don't care what we play, as long as it's fun and it's fun to watch. And good night, everybody. Mwah.